We're live now, again. So, taking a deep breath. Maybe they disconnected us because we're talking about real things. We're talking about real things. So I'm actually going to start over. I'm going to start over because I want this to be recorded and posted on my Instagram page. So we're talking about whether or not the numbers lie. And, okay, so they're coming back here in a minute. So we're talking about whether or not the numbers lie. So there's rampant corruption going on in our government. There's a rampant corruption going on in this election. It's virtually impossible that hundreds of thousands, now in the millions of votes, showing up mysteriously overnight. And thanks for coming back, Erica. And Roma, they cut me off. We're going to keep going. So they have all these votes that mysteriously showed up overnight. There's obviously corruption. And so they can keep disconnecting me here on Instagram if they like. We won't stop, right? And so I'm going to give these numbers again because I want this in the recording. I want this in the recording before they cut me off. Of the Trump and Biden energetic frequencies, the numbers. And why I'm totally calm through all of this, because I can see the bigger picture of what's going on. And that's what I want to share with all of you so that you guys can calm down. You can see that there's something much bigger going on here that's out of our control, that's has our backs, that's supporting us. And so here's the numbers. So I did, on my Facebook page, there is a banner there with their numbers that I did a couple months ago. And Trump's has stayed consistent since March when I originally did his. That completely changed my viewpoint of how I see him now. Because I know the numbers, when I'm talking about numbers, these numbers don't lie. Now you can alter the election numbers and all that, and that's a big lie. All the COVID numbers, a big lie. So, but these numbers that I'm about to give you, these don't lie. So when we're talking about being in their bodies, 100%, Trump is in his body 100%. He's fully occupying his body. Now Biden, he's only in his body 3%, and you'll see in a minute because of all the energies he's holding in his energy field. Very uncomfortable place to live right now. And the consciousness, so Trump is 100% conscious. He's a 3D chess player. He knows exactly what's going on. He's way ahead of the game. Biden, only 15% conscious. So I mentioned this earlier. I'm going to repeat it for the sake of this recording. But this, see if I can remember. It's good stuff. Yes. So because Trump is so far ahead of these knuckleheads, that he already knew this was going to happen. He came on press conference at 2 a.m. and said, we're not going to let them come in at 4 o'clock in the morning and bring in more ballots and so forth. And an hour and 45 minutes later, that's exactly what they did. There's videos of them bringing carts of these thousands of ballots. I think we're now in the millions of ballots now. But anyway, so he was far ahead of this. He's letting them have enough rope to hang themselves. He's trying to allow all of you who are still asleep to see the corruption that's going on. So he knew this ahead of time. He allowed them to print, they believe it was in China, all these fake ballots, could have also been in Silicon Valley. But the real ballots were all watermarked. So when the recount happens, it's going to become obvious what's really going on. I know there's still going to be some people that are not going to believe the truth, but we can't help them. And then Biden, this is why he's not in his body. he has 100% anger, 100% shame, 100% martyr, 100% guilt, 100% fear. He is afraid of what's going down. He's afraid of being exposed. Trump, on the other hand, is only 15% anger. No, like today, that was 2 days ago. Today's 50%. But even then, that's not enough to be angry. It's that at 50%, you're just going to feel annoyed. He's annoyed at all of what's going on. He only has 15% shame, 15% martyr, 0 guilt, and 15% fear. So this is why I can be calm through all of this. He is way ahead of them. He is just setting the traps so that they can hang themselves. And he has to do all this because people need to see what the reality of what's going on. And they're not going to believe if he, just has a few indictments and sends a few people to jail. He is planning something very big so that it's shocking, so that people will get it and they will really wake up. And then the 1% can come crashing down because we're not feeding them with all of this anger and fear and rage that keeps them alive. So a couple other things. Trump has 150 out of 360 senses. Biden only has access to 15. He only has access to 3 creative rings. That's like the minimum. There's access to 50, which Trump has activated and is working with all 50 creative rings. This is how he's a master creator. And Biden only has 3. So that's like minimum, barely. He's also Biden is still a 100% adrenochrome addict, and Trump is 0. So I just wanted to repeat those numbers because I want this to be in the new recording on Instagram. So couple other things. Yes, I think those are the main things that I wanted to talk about. So I wanted to give you, help you step a little further back, because the 1% is creating. They're being very they're being very good at pulling you out of your core, out of that center core, that place where we find our peace and alignment and our joy and our amusement. And they have us pulled out where all the things out here are to be angry about. So really, the less we can stay connected to the results of the election, it's all going to turn out just fine. And it may get messy. Of course, they're not going to go down easy. But the good news is that it's all going to work out, because there's much higher forces that are helping drive all of this, that have our back. The alliance that is been watching this, and timing is everything. So people are slowly waking up, and people, the collective, is what's driving all of this. So the more that we allow ourselves to get sucked into all of this, the better. And I don't know if this was before or after we got cut off, but I'm going to repeat this again just in case, because I think it's really excellent, of how we can use anger to just stay and feel horrible, and it compromises our immune system and ruins relationships and on and on and on. Or we can use our anger to fuel us to create and make important decisions that are going to change things. Like the woman in the UK who publicly announced on Facebook that this was going to be her last day wearing her uniform, because she was going to quit working for the NHS. And it's because she's been living a lie. And so she got in trouble for taking a screenshot of the actual COVID numbers. There was only 3 cases, and here they are shutting down the whole UK, putting everybody on lockdown. And so she knows it's all a big fat lie. And so she says, I'm done, and I'm not going to live this lie anymore. And until more and more people are standing up and against these people, this is just going to drag out. So the more that we can stand up, fight against the masses here by just saying no, and doing our best to stay in these high vibrations. So that's why I come here, is to help you release all of these lower vibrating energies, the fear, the anger, the rage, the frustration. And so I'm going to help you with that right now. We are going to get grounded and release this, all this yucky fear and anger and rage. So and come back and listen to this again over and over when you feel anxious, when you feel worried, when you feel like the wheels are falling off, because they're not going to go down easy, and things are probably going to get worse before they get better. And I'm not saying that to scare you. That's just the reality of things. They are not going to go down easy. So let's get grounded. I want you to imagine a line of energy going from the base of your spine all the way to the center of the planet. So excuse me. Right now, many of you don't even have a grounding cord. That's what fear does. It contracts you. It pulls your grounding cord up, and then all of that chaos, fear, anxiety has no place to go. So let's make sure you have a good grounding cord. You should do this every single day, maybe throughout the day, because this is not going to go away. This is not going to go away until they're gone. And whether or not there's going to be a civil war, we don't know. But at any rate. Okay, great. And so now we're going to bring that earth energy up through your legs and down the grounding. Great. Just breathing and releasing. Good. And Michelle has been feeling calm lately. Well, that's good, because you're tapped into what's really going on when you step a little further back. You're not pulled down into the minutia. So, and then let's pull in our worry circle. It's out to the third layer. This is where you're feeling a little powerless. So we're just going to pull in all that powerless energy, and we're just going to send it down the grounding. We may have lost Facebook, so we can just post this on Facebook as well. Okay, good. So now let's start bringing pure source down through the creative rings above our head. You may have 50. But even if you don't know how many you have, it's still working. It's still recalibrating what you desire to create in your life. So we're just going to bring that down through the rings into your crown, where it's stopping. So this is where it's hard for us to give ourselves permission to have what we desire in our creative rings. We're going to go out to the third layer and pull in this permission circle that's around our crown. Just going to pull all that energy in. We're just going to drop it down our grounding. See, the 1%, they want to own us. When someone's controlling our crown, they basically own you. And so this is how you can re-own your own personal power, by doing these energy clearings every single day for yourself. There's a free 20-minute meditation in the bio link, tree link, that you can use every single day, and it will also help to raise your money vibrations too. Okay, good. So as we come down through the crown, 6, it's stopping right here. Let's go out to the third layer, both front and back, and we're going to pull in all those beliefs that are making you feel powerless, that make you think that you can't control what's going on. And while it's true, we can't, we can control what's going on here. And so that's what we need to do every single day, by sitting down, running our energy, getting clear, refocusing inward instead of everything being outward. Great. So as we're bringing pure source down through that, down into the throat now, and down into the heart, good, solar plexus, great. Actually, it's stopping right at the solar plexus. That's that powerless energy where you feel like there's nothing we can do about this. So it's all part of the plan, the divine plan, the bigger plan. As a matter of fact, I'm going to read this one quote. It just reminded me that I pulled this out, and I pulled this out last night. I was getting ready to create my new vision board for the new moon that's coming up in another week or so. It says, adopt the pace of nature. Her secret is patience. Ralph Waldo Emerson. So just another thing to remember, that this is all part of the divine plan. This power has been in place for a really, really long time. And now you have the privilege of helping usher us into this new era by being on the side that is helping to take them down, by not being their fuel source, by not feeding them with all of our anger and our rage and our fears. Okay, great. So as that energy is coming down through the solar plexus, into the second chakra, spilling down the root, great. We're going to bring that 50-50 mixture, so the earth energy coming up through the legs with pure source coming down the backside. Where those meet at the root, we're going to bring that up the front, real close to the spine. So right at that second chakra, there's a lot of anger and rage, and justifiably so. But we're going to release this excess anger. You always have access to your anger. We're not taking it away. Just helping you release it so it doesn't feel horrible running through your energy field all the time. And it just is no fun to live that way. We're not meant to live that way. Okay, great. So as it's coming up through the second and the solar plexus, up into the heart, where it's stopping, let's go out to the third layer. And this is where there's a lot of judgments in your heart, and where you're maybe making yourself wrong for maybe not doing what you should have done, coulda, woulda, shouldas, and thinking that maybe if you work harder and suffer more, that's what you need to do, but that's not. That's all part of the 1% agenda and how they operate. They want us to be the free-range slaves working for the machine. Okay, so we're just releasing that down the grounding. Good, you guys still have a good grounding cord. So as we bring this up through the heart and the throat, stopping right there, like the words, all the anger just sticks right there. Who's going to listen? They're not going to do anything anyway, right? That's where this patience comes in. So let's go all the way up to the 15th layer, which is where the 1% hangs out. And they don't want to hear what you have to say. They're going to cut us off from Facebook and Instagram. And okay, great. Excellent. So we're coming up through the heart and the throat and the sixth chakra and the crown and the rings, cascading down through all the layers of the aura. Let's pay special attention to that third layer, especially around the heart. All those self-judgments. Just breathing and releasing. Excellent. Then we're going to jump out to the 15th layer, but we're going to start at the bottom, and we're going to lift that 1% energy out of our energy field. Now they're mostly just up at the 6th and 7th chakra, where they're trying to occupy your crown. So you can't access your sovereignty, your natural birthright to feel abundant, to be abundant, to live in joy and prosperity and love and fun and joy. Let's ground the 20th layer, starting at the top, the most powerful part of our energy field that has access to 360 senses. Hey Cindy, good to have you here. And 360 senses and access to 360 degrees of awareness. So they don't want us to access this most powerful part of our energy field, the 20th layer. They have themselves stationed on both sides, in the 15th layer with the 1%, and on the other side in the 25th layer with fear entities, and the 30th layer with reptilian energies. So that's all pushing down, compressing this powerful energy field so that it can't expand out to the 40th layer where oneness exists. That's the game. So the more we can clear these energies, the more we can expand out to that energy of oneness, where it's not just a concept, it's actually a real thing. We are all one. And we all matter. Okay, great. So that 20th layer, let's clear the 25th, starting at the bottom, clearing all that fear out of this energy field so we can expand. I'm going to clear the 30th layer, also starting at the bottom, so we can expand. Excellent. And then we're going to clear the circle of reciprocity. That's the upper 4 chakras, heart, throat, 6 crown, and however many rings you have. You don't even have to know how many. We're going to bring all that energy out the right arm, out your right arm, so that you can give out into the world. This is a circle of reciprocity. You have to give from the heart before you receive. This is the masculine giving side. Then put your fingertips together like this so the energy can pass through the palms and all the fingertips as you allow yourself to receive. So that's blocked right there. Allow yourself to receive love, support, money, clients, rich resources, encouragement, help like you are here. Let it in. Okay, good. Down through the front and back of the heart, throat. Clear all of that stuck energy where it just feels like you can't, no one's listening. So just let go of all those words, all that angry energy. Through the 6th chakra, all those limiting and lack mindsets. Okay, great. And then through the crown and the rings. Great, so you can give and receive. Let's check the level of anger. So notice that you already feel calmer. There's only 15% left, but we want all of it gone. That's the beauty of these numbers. You know exactly where you're at. So 15%, so there's still some in the 6th chakra where you believe that you need your anger to feel powerful, to feel alive, to feel whatever. But that's not your fuel source. That's not your true power. And it feeds the beast. So let's let that anger go in that 6th chakra. Just going to drop it down the grounding. Okay, great. So now anger is at 0. Let's see where fear is. 50%. So that also has to do with beliefs. Believing that, there's lots of fears up here, but one is you're afraid of your own power. That's a big one. You're afraid of being controlled. You're afraid of losing control. You're afraid of being, let's see what else, as we're clearing these. We'll clear as we're talking. Fear of dying, it's another one. So that's a very powerful fear, and they can hold it over your heads. That's what they've done with this whole virus thing, making people afraid of dying. They pull on that string, and it's been quite effective, hasn't it? Okay, good. So when you're fearless, they have no control over you. They can't hurt you. Okay, good. So fears, that brought it down to 15%. Let's see where the rest of the fear is. In the root, out to that third layer. So that's more fear of your own power. Just going to pull all that in. We're going to dump it down the grounding. Fear of being controlled. So we're only controlled if we give up our power, if we let them control us. So the more that we re-own our power and say no to what we don't want and what we don't want to allow, and saying yes to what we do want, they're going to die out faster. It's all of this anger and fear that keeps them alive. I don't know if you guys realize that. Okay, great. So fear is now 0. Great. Let's bring up your amusement. Well, we'll do unconditional love for yourself. That's only at 50%. So let's raise that so that you can do what's best for you, because you unconditionally love yourself. You're not judging yourself because you didn't work hard enough. You don't feel like you're enough. That's all garbage. None of that stuff is true. Let's go down to the root, out to that third layer. That's more of that powerless energy. Maybe you're blaming yourself for feeling powerless. All those coulda, woulda, shouldas. So drop that down there. All that serious energy is also there too. That's why you're not amused at any of this. Okay, last thing, amusement. You're only 50% amused. Let's bring it to 100. So in the 6th chakra, that's that powerless energy. So we're going to go out to the 3rd layer, pull in all of that stuff that's not funny. This whole thing is just not funny. People losing their jobs, no doubt, not funny at all. I'm not trying to make light of any of that. But if everybody succumbs to all of those things, then we're not going to be able to lift each other up. So we need to stay in amusement. And that doesn't mean that we think that it's fun, that people losing their jobs is funny, or that people dying from diseases is funny, or any of this is funny. That's not what I'm saying. But you could still have some amusement about it. Okay, so, and then down in the root, let's go out to the 3rd layer. That's a lot of serious energy there. Just drop all that down your grounding. Hey, Jeannie. Good to have you here. So you might need to listen to this again, and we're going to end this just in another minute here. I have to get on a call that's about my book. So amusement, 100%. Okay, great. So the numbers don't lie, that's for sure. And that's why I've written a whole book about it. So here is the version the paperback version that they've sent. So it's there's still a few things we're trying to tie up. I'm going to talk with the publisher today to get these final things cinched up in an attempt to get this launched on Wednesday, 11/11. I just want that really bad. You know I'm all about the ones, right? That's why we're here at 11/11. Ones are all about how your thoughts create your reality, and that's what this book is all about. It's this system that I have discovered that's helped me heal through being sexually abused as a child, through being born and raised in a religious cult, through living through an abusive relationship, on and on and on. So I have discovered this system and I'm sharing it with you in this book. We're hoping it will be launched on Wednesday. And sign up for, Roma will post a link that you can sign up to be notified when it's going to go for $1 for 1 day. Hopefully that will be Wednesday. Keep your fingers crossed. Put the juju out there to help support me in this. And this has been long.